Good afternoon, everyone. David DuByne here from the Mini Ice Age Conversations podcast and Adapt2030.tv, Roku. As Bitcoin and cryptocurrency goes through the stratosphere, it's going to be on your radar more and more. Western Union ends Cuba transfers, Bitcoin inbound. It's all about creating a global natural resource cryptocurrency, Barcode for Life. Identification and barcoding of all multicellular life on the planet. Conference 2019 kind of sums it up where we're going to go. They want to classify a minimum of 20 million species. In doing this, we'll put in baseline data essential for evaluating and modeling biotic change, which you're going to be a part of. Now all you do is take a token to represent an object. But extensive tracking and auditing is necessary. Every gram of a natural resource will be accounted for. The bait and switch is Bitcoin, but in reality there's another driver behind it, the tracking, tracing, and digitization of all life on Earth. Are you going to comply so you can partake? And reading through the financial news, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup all now say this is the time to buy gold. And now that the election's over, we have clear signs from analysts that gold and silver is preparing to soar to new highs. A gold IRA uses the value of precious metals to keep you out of trouble. The team at Noble Gold knows how to do this, and they've done it for thousands of other people before you. Don't let a sudden stock market, banking crisis, or currency reset wipe out your finances. Grab the phone and give Noble Gold a call now. 877-646-5347, and you'll also find the link in the description box below the video. And what anybody would expect is a headline, instantly identify any species with your cell phone using a barcode of life. Catchy headline. Group of scientists completing a database of every living creature's DNA on our planet. And I thought, this is super interesting. Let me dig into this. With all this talk of cryptocurrency rising to the stratosphere and natural resource coins, this has to be an integral part. And you know what? It is the foundation for our society moving forward in this great reset. Barcode of Life conferences, I've linked everything in the description box below. You can check out every conference they've done over the last 10 years. Massive PDFs, hundreds of pages deep. But this image sums it up here. They want to digitize and collect DNA of every living species, put it into a database, cross-reference it, and identify all multicellular life on the planet to illuminate biodiversity. We see this illuminate across different circles of society. Barcode of Life, the bioscan. And as we look deeper into the International Barcode of Life Consortium, 30 nations now that have DNA barcode references in a searchable library for at least 500,000 species. Oh, and that was in 2015. So the outcome that's trying to be achieved here is to document patterns of biomass and diversity, meaning how much is used, how much is planted, how much moves. So when they talk about you will only be allotted this much electricity or this much food in the future moving into whatever we're morphing the world into in the next 10 years, it's all going to be tracked. The baseline data is essential for evaluating and modeling these, let's call it physical world changes, or you could say biotic changes, focused on terrestrial settings, as well as freshwater and marine ecosystems, meaning fish, seafood, and anything alive on Earth or in the oceans. And then they're going to overlay this with geographic location using GPS and the DNA-based identification system, and this is going to allow an ecosystem unprecedented temporal and spatial scales, meaning inventory all life in real time in a global biosurveillance system. This is why what's happening right now is happening. And the International Barcode of Life front page looks so welcoming. But really, how far along are they here? Well, the DNA sequence database flowing between parties, you see those deep red lines? Those are the access nations, institutions, think tanks and information platforms sharing data across continents right now. And you'll begin to hear about this in the news next year when the food gets really expensive and we're starting to get slammed by these grand solar minimum crop losses. This is going to come in play because every gram of food is going to be accounted for on the planet. And you knew this was coming with the decline in solar activity on a 400-year cycle where there's not going to be enough food for everybody 2022 forward. Barcode of Life Data Systems, BOLD for short. This is basically the workhorse database to connect all of this DNA barcodes across a huge, when I say large network, they should say gargantuan network of 30 nations on every continent. And in 2015, you already saw they did 500,000 species. Well, as we move forward into 2026, they want to have at least 2.5 million species, and ultimately 2045, 20 million species, which is pretty much every single living organism on the planet classified by its species. We're just one. And it's so interesting of the white bat in the beginning. Coincidental, perhaps? Whales could be another. But how does this overlap into this run-up in cryptocurrency and this massive push into blockchain on the institutional investment level that we're seeing just this last month take hold? Literally, grab onto Superman's cape because we're going to Neptune on this one here. To get a global cryptocurrency, a one-world currency, it has to have value behind it. Gold's awesome, but there's not enough of it. If you can digitize the entire world's species, plant, animal, aquatic life, you can give that a value. And on that value, at that point, you can have a global cryptocurrency, a global one-world currency. But here's the thing, each token must represent a physical object. So extensive tracking and auditing is necessary. Did that not just describe everything in the Barcode of Life data systems? Now they're intertwining, now they're integrating. They're drip feeding you cryptocurrency and blockchain through Bitcoin. The bait and switch is going to be RippleNet and the global financial institutions moving over to distributed ledger settlements. And all of this barcode data, by the way, is going to be running on the blockchain as well. Still unknown which protocol they're going to base all of the information in. But if I were guessing, I would say something running on Ethereum. And as Bitcoin approaches the all-time highs from 2017, this is your adoption phase right here. This is the rollout globally. Now that the institutional money is in, and what does that mean? The accumulation phase for massive international banks, governments, billionaires is in play. Wherever you see a green circle is massive buying of Bitcoin and holding it, not back out and reselling. They call this the whale map, whale clusters. Anybody who bought more than 10,000 Bitcoin in a single transaction, but held it and took it off into a private wallet, which is creating a liquidity crisis, meaning not enough Bitcoin out there, and every single Bitcoin that's being mined right now is already bought forward out so far, it would make your head spin. Somebody's trying to corner the Bitcoin market now. This is going to be the new bank settlement coin here, just one of many. Why do you think BitMEX was taken down? Do you think that was coincidence a couple of months ago that it was raided and all their Bitcoin was taken over by the Department of Justice in the United States? $1.2 billion a day rolling through that platform in Bitcoin. They were interfering with elite Bitcoin. That's not for you and I. That's for the elite and the multinational corporations. If you have it, everybody wants it. And once it leaves your hands, you may never get it back again. Marching forward, you're starting to see a curtailing of money flows across the planet. It's being channeled into just a few different avenues. And here's something really interesting. Western Union ends U.S.-Cuba transfers. What's going to be left? Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin options? Perhaps, but that's going to be so expensive, so fast. What's the second and third and fourth coins down as you look across the space? 2020 has been a year to remember. The true push of cryptocurrency and blockchain into our society has just begun. As we go through 2021, this will begin more and more to become part of our everyday lives, as well as more tracking, barcoding, tracing. Because after all, humans are part of the bioscan layer. And once you reach your ration allotment, you will be given no more. Prepare wisely, grow your own food. Are you prepared for such vast changes in our supply chains and the way we access food? My Patriot Supply and Adapt 2030 long-term food storage. Give yourself the peace of mind if you can't get to the supermarket or your rations are finished for the week or month, however they deem that you'll get it, you still have some stockpiled, unless you're continuing to grow to add into that stockpile. All the links are in the description box below. I do thank you for watching. I really hope you got something out of the video so you can see how our society is moving. And if you like this type of content, you can join me over on Patreon /Adapt 2030 as well. And I'll see you next video.